Hey, how are you doing? This is Artsy Wisdom. My name is Diane. Oh, the reflection in my glasses. It's annoying. Maybe if I sit over here. Thank you for coming by. These are some more of my predictions. I just wanted to introduce myself and tell you how I work. And for those of you who have not been here before, I see visions when I meditate, and some of those include just colors, shapes, people, desserts, food. I don't know, there for a while, it seemed like that was all that I seemed to relate to. And some people said how hungry they were when they were watching, so I feel bad about that. But yeah, that's where my brain goes, I guess, because I do like to bake. So I love Great British Bake Off and all the baking shows, although some of them get a little bit crazy. But anyway, yeah, so I wanted to say thank you to all my new subscribers. My goal, it may be meager, but my first year is April 18th. So I'm hoping to get to 3,000 subscribers by then. And I'm getting close every day, just inch by inch. I'm getting closer. So just wanted to let you guys know that. So if you want to share my channel so others might see it, that would be awesome. Last time my mic was really weird, and I had several people saying they couldn't hear me. And of course, I got that message and made sure today that you can hear me, hopefully. And every day or every time I'm recording, I'm learning and experimenting, and hopefully you can be patient with me as I grow. And I'm experimenting with different things like I don't always sit in the same place. And I know a lot of readers, they have the exact same background, or not even readers, but YouTube people. They have the same background. And I just don't think I can do that all the time. I think I'm going to be here in my art studio, or when we travel, we'll go back to Canada in a couple months and I'll have a different background there. So it just depends. But I wondered how you guys reacted to that, because I know sometimes things that stay the same are more comforting. I don't know. I'd like to hear your feedback if that's okay. Let's see what else. And I always read your comments. Just FYI, I never don't read them. Even the yucky ones, I read them all. And I appreciate all of you that say something, even if it's just a couple words or a smiley face or a heart or whatever. Thumbs up, all of that. I really appreciate it because it's helping me grow. And my goal here is to bring love and light and positivity to the world. Now, sometimes that goal crisscrosses with politics and my opinion and other negative things that happen in the world that aren't awesome or that are kind of heavy. So it always is a mixed bag. So I keep going. Sometimes things occur here and there, but my ultimate goal is to just keep going and do the best I can. So thank you for your kind words about me and all my experiences. I did some videos about my cancer diagnosis way back, 11, 12 years ago, whenever it was. And those of you who responded, it was really lovely. So, all right. So I had a bunch of questions, and not all of them had a recorded person that I recorded the person who asked me, but I tried to get as many as I could. So let's get going. So like I said, those of you who haven't been here, I meditate and I take notes and I write it all down to remember everything that I've seen. Because once my vision's gone, I can't always remember everything. So I'll be referring to them periodically. And as I was doing that today, this bird was chirping. I think it was a mockingbird. Just could not stop chirping. And I've said this before in some of my other videos where birds and animals give us messages. I believe that. And so when I finally paid attention, because he was not letting me not listen, I was like, oh, okay. So the bird is, how they're just out there calling or singing or chirping. And whoever hears it. Most of the time they want their bird friends or whatever, or maybe they're just happy about life. But I felt like as those of us who are trying to be fearless, it's about speaking our truth. And I got the message from my little birdie friend up in the tree. So that's another one of my goals. Okay, so I'm going to start off with Europe stuff, global, not all Europe, but global stuff. I had a bunch of questions about that. And so if you're not interested, there's timestamps below. Move on to the U.S. stuff. There's U.S. stuff and a couple other weather phenomenon, other questions. Okay, so in the past, I've seen my UK man, he had a striped jacket, and he used to be very proud and very confident, and except his pants were torn on the bottom. Well, little by little, as time is going by, like last time I saw him wrapped up in this blanket or this straight jacket, but it was like limited, and I felt like it was the economy or some other difficult things that were going on. Today, I look at him, and our poor UK guy he looks exhausted. He doesn't have that thing wrapped around him. He's dirty and exhausted. And he is so tired, and it's like he's been beat up. And I see him leaving the UK, walking across the water, because he's giant, of course. He's the size of the country. And he walks across the water, and he's got, up to his knees in water over to France. And in the past, I've seen them try to work together, different images on stilts and things. Him and Macron or whoever, or not Rishi Sunak, but the guy, France and the other guy. And I see him walking to try and connect with them. And I'm wondering if because I said there's going to be some sort of interconnectedness. They're trying to work it out. I don't know, it's about Brexit or working out some trade policies or making it on where they're working together. And maybe it is about immigration, because I still see that deep river coming from North Africa in the water, in the ocean water, streaming towards the UK. And I know it's immigration or it's energy or people, or if it is products, then I don't feel like it's it doesn't feel good. It may be a combination of products and people. Okay, so then let's go to the EU. Kevin Birdwell asked me if the EU is going to break up anytime soon. And I said no, because they need to stick together. The feeling is this isn't a good time if we did that. No, because we all need to stick together because of the Russian dominance and aggressiveness in Ukraine, and country trade policies that are shifting here and there that are helping them. But a lot of them, it's just, there feels like this summer, they're very scared to change, but it's going to be super volatile this summer. I feel like the whole EU, all the countries in there in Europe I feel this summer it's going to be escalated. Like the energy is going to be super high this summer. And fear is going to really be ramped up. And it may be, that's so weird. I just got this sharp pain in my head. I don't know if that has to do with anything. Fear really amped up. They're going to feel really exhausted. They're trying to hold it all together, all the multi-country. And I asked about what countries would see more of that. I saw protests in France, and I know they just had the farmers there protesting. And I immediately thought Poland, but then I crossed it out because I'm not sure. And then I saw Greece, Italy, Hungary, Spain. And I know Hungary's got, and I'm going to talk about Viktor Orban here soon. But I think it's related to heat, climate, food costs, and immigration. I just feel like it's kind of ready to blow. And I feel like it's going to get escalated in the summer, unfortunately. But they're not going to break up because they need each other. And they're going to work together on small ways to maintain whatever they can do, each country, do the best they can. Okay, Kevin Birdwell also asked me, which was super random, and I never even knew where this was. So Estonia, I guess there's a lot of immigrants from Pakistan going there. And he asked advice, and I said, when I meditated, which, like I said, this is just my visions. I feel like they're clumping together when they do go there, which most immigrants do. They stay in their group, different where they come from, their countries, Little Italy and, Chinatown. People have their own groups and they stick together. But it was really weird because I felt them not staying there and they were going to the southwest of the country, which for me, so here's Estonia and it went like this way for you. And I didn't even know what was that way. So I didn't even know what it was. I looked on a map and it's Latvia. So something with Latvia, they're going there. Once they get to Estonia, they travel to Latvia, or there's some open, I don't think it's open border, but there's something that happens where they're not staying in Estonia. Maybe Estonia makes it a little bit more difficult for them once they're there. So they travel to a more open country, which I think Latvia is really, things are going to stay the same in that regards. Whoever, Kevin Birdwell asked me. So it's going to stay, and the locals aren't thrilled. Obviously, sometimes that happens, but they're going to keep to themselves. And then I also forgot I wrote this. Government seen as solid. There's pressure in Latvia from Russia. The government doesn't seem as solid in Latvia. I don't know why that is, because why would people go? But that's what my crazy visions. Ukraine, several people had asked me about Ukraine, of course. Salawi King and Kim Powers, I think it is. And I had seen this before, and it actually came true, the vision that I had, because I didn't know what cities were there. But when I get my map, I'll be able to show you. So if this is Ukraine and the fighting was on this side for you, and Russia was coming from, and that's where all the border is, where all these, they control back and forth. Ukraine's been fighting. I saw that there's a red spot, a big spot that they were coming in on this side. Russia was entering over here at some point. And this was when I did 2024 predictions. And it seems to be that's what they're doing right now. So they're coming in from a different place. And Ukraine was trying to hold it, and they haven't been able to because they're running out of ammo. But I do see that we are going to, as the U.S., we are going to give them the funding, a lot of funding. I feel like it's going to be a strong package. And I'm not going to talk about Israel today, but it's going to be a strong package, and they are going to have all the ammunition and materials that they're going to need. It's still an ongoing fight. Zelensky is tired. I saw him really exhausted. He's aged, like even presidents do. So let's send him strength, and even all the Ukrainian people, send them strength and will and a positive energy so they can get through this, all this really difficult struggle that they're dealing with. Okay. All right. So somebody, Christina the Aquarian, asked me about Viktor Orban in Hungary. And I saw him immediately with a big group of men around him, like insulated, like he was in the center of this huddle. And that's how he lives, or the government is. He's very protected. They're shielding him. And I saw Hungary, or the democratic process in Hungary, as a tree. And he is almost eating away. He's trying to eat around the roots of the tree, to eat away the democracy and make disease get in there and break away the roots so the tree isn't strong anymore. But what was interesting was I also saw that, he's drilling into the side, so bugs and different diseases and things could take root inside the tree to destroy it as well. But I don't know if he understands how much he would lose in the long run. I feel like he's doing it not thoughtfully or in a smart way, I guess. But there's something about the logic that he's using. It doesn't make sense to me. But what it was really good is that I see, even though he's poking holes in the side and he's trying to get under the roots of this tree and like decay the roots, or get under the tree trunk and decay the roots, I see that the tree, the rest of it is so strong. I feel like it's like almost gets bigger and stronger from that activity. So that made me feel really good. I also saw that he gets weaker or sick or somehow gets weakened. I don't know what that is. Not for a couple more years, 25 to 26, 20 to 25, 20 to 26, somewhere in there. So I don't think he's going to be around after that. That's what I think. That's what I saw. Navalny the other day, the wonderful Alexei Navalny, and he was passed on the ground. I saw him dead, and he was gray and thin, and there was something metal. So I really wanted to find out about how he died. Not that it matters so much, but it was something strange. I don't know exactly because I don't see blood near him. And I felt like he was hit with that metal bar or something on his back or his kidneys or something. And because he was weak or malnourished, it was like a combination of things. Maybe he didn't get hit right then, but it was a different time. And by the time he went outside, he collapsed. If that makes any sense. But he's defiant, and he knew in that second before he died what had happened. And I could see his face, and he was mad. And I can see his lips. He's holding him tight, and he was mad. But then now that he's passed on, and I see him as Superman with his cape flying in the back, and it makes me so happy because he's strong and excited about what he can do on the other side to help the Russian people. I asked him for messages. Quick, go back. I felt just his stomach was really hurting before he died, and maybe that had something to do with malnutrition or hunger, but his kidneys, I don't know. Anyway, he wants the Russian people to keep hopeful and maintain their pressure and disrupt everything. Disrupt the state media, disrupt Putin's lies. And he wants people to be strong and have faith. He's already with his family. Like, I can see him near them. He hasn't left the planet. When people die, they leave. They go up into heaven and to God and to the one that we all are immediately, usually. But for him, he feels like he still has work to do. So his energy is still here on Earth. So he's with his wife and his family. I saw that Putin will win the election in a few months, whenever that is. But previously, I think one of my first prediction videos was that I see him winning, but then he's going to leave his position, but he's going to put somebody in that is basically a mouthpiece for him that will do his bidding. And that'll be later in the year. I don't know. People keep saying that he's sick and nothing has happened with him. But I think this year might be the year that whatever he's been dealing with is going to get to him, I think. So when I saw him and I saw the situation, Putin in Russia, I saw a soup. I saw this tomato-based, not quite a minestrone, but a vegetable soup with little meat, like a beef vegetable soup. But it was tomato-based, and you couldn't see into it, but it looked really good, and it felt really good. And I was like, well, there's nothing wrong with this, because it seems like a positive situation. But I realized as I was diving into it that it looks good on the outside, but inside, all these hidden vegetables, things we can't see inside that soup. You know how sometimes you throw stuff into the soup that you don't want. It looks healthy and good, but inside, the feeling I got was kind of scary. Yeah, so scary. Showing off his delicious soup, but inside it's not delicious. It's bad vegetables or vegetables that, stuff that he's doing in there that is secret. In the past, I've seen him as a giant chocolate Fabergé. It wouldn't be a Fabergé egg, but a giant chocolate egg. And he's still there, and the conveyor belt is still chewing up the base of him. And he hasn't popped out of it yet. So that still has to happen. The base of the egg, that's what I got before. With the windows, and he's inside, and the conveyor belt is chewing away at this beautiful egg-shaped chocolate dessert. And and he eventually pops out and goes on the conveyor belt and shoots out the side. It's not there yet. Right now we're in the soup stage, I guess. About Scotland, which I didn't really see a ton on. Where's my Scotland paper? All right, so Scotland is not too exciting. The only thing I saw is they're making a stand for autonomy, which of course they've been doing for centuries, but they're really connected to England, and they have the government is ruled by England, and I don't know exactly the way it works with their parliament, but I did see that they're trying to get a few items separate. They're working on different areas of the government which they can divide from England, and it was about money. I heard pensions, investing, and the rights in the land, like maybe water rights, other rights for resources on their land. They're working on policy so they can separate those specific things from the English governmental oversight. So they would be in charge of it. So if that's anything really true, you can let me know on the comments below. That would be awesome. I looked into North Korea, and I felt immediately there's secret plans happening. But of course, I mean, that's like a no-brainer. You don't have to be psychic to know that. But it felt so out of sync and clueless about the world. And I'm sure it's Kim Jong-un. He's lives in his bubble, basically. I know he gets information. People have information there, but the way they make decisions, it's sort of, they're separate. They're on an island, it seems like, by themselves. And they're using old patterns of thought or behavior to deal with situations. I saw them still making missiles or technology bombs, but they're like old-fashioned technology there. And they're minimally helping people for distribution for food, so people have to help themselves. The government isn't doing what they need to do for the people. So people are having to fend for themselves a lot of ways. I see no big changes. It's a closed environment. I also saw that Russia is supplying them a little bit with material or some sort of mineral, or I want to say uranium, but some kind of, it's not technology, it's a material that they use there that they need for their military devices. And I couldn't tell you what that is, but I felt like Russians definitely helping there. And then I saw South Korea as lots of, tech abilities, but they are really small to be able to fight them. So they're always on guard. But I saw North Korea as immediately saw, I don't know if you guys know what those look like. They're fried lotus slices. Maybe I'll put a picture here. And that's what I saw him as, with the holes. And it's thin, and there's not a lot of strength to them. They break. So that's the feeling I got for North Korea, was the fried lotus chips. And then Taiwan and China, while I'm over there. Taiwan and China, somebody asked about that. That was the drunken Xi Jinping. Yes, I feel like their economy is really slowing down in China, and in fact, Taiwan is very small and very vulnerable, and Xi is going to try and get to boost production of certain products by taking Taiwan. He wants to incorporate it into their economic plan somehow. I know it's going to cost some money, and they're going to do some military actions, and I don't feel it will be this year. I tried to get a vibe for it. But I saw underwater activities. I saw like submarines, but I don't even know if China has submarines. Well, they must. There's vessels that go underwater, and I feel like they're doing these military actions or practice things around the island of Taiwan. And I also see jets flying over. It's like I want to say teasing them, but they're practicing. So it's just a matter of time. China feels it's theirs, and they're going to take it, just like they did Hong Kong. And they realize that Taiwan will have help from other countries, so they're planning for it to be a long battle. But Chinese people are very, they can last a long time when it comes to goals. So, which is a very good respectful and have a behavior characteristic that a country can have. And I said, oh, within 2 years. Yeah. But the people are going to suffer in China and in Taiwan, both places. I think we're out of Europe now. And I'm going to talk about Canada. Somebody asked, Nicole Hartrell, she had asked about the Maga people in Canada, would they, and then Tucker Carlson, if that influence is going to do a lot of like build up in Canada and move and grow. And I already see that, I'm up there half the year, so I already see there's that group of people that were already doing that. Even, during the vaccine and the COVID outbreak, they wouldn't let the truckers back and forth. And there was that big trucker blockade. Those are the same kind of people that are already believing that there's, you can't trust the elections and that it's the socialist party that is, or the socialist system that is wrong, and they're trying to take, they don't have any freedom kind of thing. So I did see that election mistrust is right. But I don't think the MAGA movement will stick around like it does here. There's that desire, the conspiracy kind of thing, and mistrust, and but that is there already, and it's growing, but it's not like it is here in the States. So I don't think it's going to stick for long. The higher taxes are going to push a conservative into power, and this conservative will have those type of tendencies, not saying yes to everything and giving away money so readily. They're going to more isolationist. I see that happening, and in the past, in that one video, like in December, I saw the guy on horseback, kind of like Teddy Roosevelt, running with his sword to save the day, and it's somebody from the prairie lands that's going to be a conservative, and I know that Pierre Poilievre is a conservative, and he might be from Alberta, I think. But it didn't feel like him, but it could be. It could be him. Trudeau I saw that Trudeau is getting ready to leave. He's already making plans. He's got some other businesses lined up or things he's going to work within. It could be speaking. It could be even products or something that he's working to build when he gets out of office. He's already doing that. And Tucker Carlson, I felt like he found fertile ground. He found that he can have a show there and broadcast it and make lots of money. And I feel like he's going to do that. Like Rush Limbaugh back in the day, 30 years ago. He was the one on the radio that started the really conservative movement and started talking. He was one of the first people to start talking like that. And people followed him, and then little by little, the Freedom Caucus and all the other Tea Party. And so I think Tucker Carlson's he's gonna find a part-time home up there. Not literally a home, but a place to be and show us and talk to people up there. I did see viruses again. Somebody asked. I don't remember if anybody asked recently, but I said some on the horizon. They'll make a new vaccine. It's not going to be crazy bad like the COVID virus. And they're going to be ready because that's, we don't want the same thing to happen again. All right, let's get into the U.S. stuff. So if you're not into that, oh wait, one more thing, royal stuff, Meghan and Harry. So some of you are very much not fans, but I'd had Tangerine Cottage and a couple other people ask about Meghan's new podcast, and then will their titles be taken away ever? Will the King or William take them away? And well, let me start. I did see that Meghan's podcast will happen. I know she's repeating her old one, Archetypes, on there, on that Lemonada. But I think what's going to happen is she's going to make a few, 6, maybe 8, and that'll probably be it. I don't think it's going to be a big long-term thing for her. There'll be a reason, but I don't think she's going to do more than that. I think, yeah. I know Harry was told not to go see his dad when he flew home that day when King Charles found out he had cancer. And then he offered to help them. And I think that's what he said now. I recently saw that he's offered to help and cover some of the appearances that his dad or some of the other royals can't do, Catherine. But that won't they're not going to let him do that anytime soon. And I'm surprised. I feel like he's less smart than I thought he was, unfortunately. Because when he was interviewed the other day on Good Morning America, I didn't see it, but I heard a clip of it, that he was saying that he would, and they're asking him, would you be willing to get a U.S. citizenship? And he said, I've thought about it. And they said, oh, really? Why not? And he's like, I don't know why not. I was like, is that an answer? To not get citizenship is, I don't know. Why did you say yes? And I think for him, he's a kind of person that just kind of goes with, oh yeah, let's just be, I don't want to say cordial, but just say what you think they want you to hear kind of thing. But I don't think he understood the repercussions of that, because he can't and still have his title. And I don't think he wants to be a U.S. citizen. I think he wants to have one foot here and one foot there. And I do think England, the country of England, and the monarchy will be keeping close tabs on their new website to make sure that they're not profiting from the name. And they're only profiting in the American, certain parts of their new branding or their new marketing plan. It can't be using the Sussex name or the royal monikers or any of that. So they're going to put the kibosh on that. I don't think Charles will even remove their titles, to answer your question. He won't do that. But I think William might, depending on the future, depending on what Harry does and Meghan does. Do Harry and Meghan do? Yeah. All right. The Tri-Tech MC asked about weather in Missouri. I'm going to start with weather and a couple other things. I used to live in Missouri many years ago. I loved Missouri. I would have stayed there, but we didn't for various reasons. I saw lots of flooding, and I saw lots of bugs. It was really weird because I know it's a very humid place in the summer, but I saw that it's like opposite. Like it gets humid back and forth and dry, and it's weird, inconsistent weather. Like they're going to get really wet spring and into summer, really wet. And then all of a sudden it's going to be hot and dry forever. And it's not going to make any sense. It's like opposite. And I hear the bugs. I can hear the bugs. There's going to be a lot of bugs. And there's always bugs there, but it's goofy, the weather. So hopefully whoever, Tri-Tech MC asked. Hawaii, I also saw that the volcano that makes up, I know it's Honolulu, but I don't know how it affects the other islands. I feel like it gets active. Doesn't mean it shoots out lava, but I do think there's going to be some underground activity that they're going to start measuring. I did see the island in the middle. I'm so bad. Has flooding and the rising sea level. I would not buy any property there. It's years down the road, but the future feels very iffy there, very iffy. But the weather right now is going to be normal. Maui is sunny, and weather's going to be pretty normal for this time for this year. But I just feel the sea level is rising, so I wouldn't. But you do you, whatever you want to do. And I know a lot of people would love to invest in Hawaii. Okay. Somebody, sweet darling Lulu asked, December 24th to January 25th energy. I didn't see a ton. I saw it dark down there and I saw it quiet. I also saw right So in January, prior to the inauguration, there's going to definitely be protesting, definitely. And there's going to be secret groups again talking. It's not going to be like it was last year or last, 2021, but they're going to be overtones or similar mimicking of what happened then. After the inauguration, things will be better. Things will calm down a lot. Taylor and Travis Kelce, I don't see them getting married anytime soon, or if at all. I told in another video, I said she's like the sun and he's one of the many people that orbit around her for now. And she may endorse Biden, but it won't be till late summer or fall. I don't see her doing it anytime soon. I looked into Trump's confusion to see if he's getting more and more confused. And he will get worse, but not dementia as much. And I saw it more as stress, age, the meds he takes, and a lack of attention span. So that combination, I feel, is what's causing him some of these things where he's confusing Obama with Joe Biden, or he's talking to Nancy Pelosi was the one, or Nikki Haley was the one that was at the Capitol, but it was Nancy Pelosi. So I don't think it's dementia yet, but early next year, the signs are going to be coming along that they can't be ignored. And people are going to, he's going to have to he'll be diagnosed. And I think that he has that fear that it, like his dad had it. So I think he does have that fear, but he sort of ignores it and he feels like he's different than him. And I don't know if it's about smoking or drinking or something, but he feels like he's different and stronger. So he doesn't feel like it's going to get to him like faster. He's not worried about it as much as we think he might be. He will be the nominee. But between now and then, there's going to be so many court cases that he's going to get nominated, but there's going to have to be a backup because, like I said last time, the states are going to do different things and it's going to be a big amalgam of crazy for this election. So I don't know if Nikki Haley will be the backup one or if you have to write Trump in and vote for her, if she's going to be the one on printed. I'm not sure, but it's going to be like that. It's not going to be easy. And I do think somebody had asked if he laundered foreign income through businesses, and I said, yeah. And his kids did too when he was in office. And Jack Smith is aware of it. I saw Jack Smith. Okay, so get this. I saw him as an apple pie, and then it occurred to me, Granny Smith, because you make apple pie with Granny Smith apples because they're a little tart, kind of on the nose. But also, as American as apple pie. That's what I thought of too. And he, I don't know if he's left-handed or not. He might be right-handed, but he's a Gemini. And so is Trump. So that's very interesting. And Geminis are important in a United States chart. And Aquarians are, and Leos are. So the Scorpios too. So it's interesting how that's all affecting United States astrology right now. And he's in the opposite. If you use the Sagittarius ascendant, a United States birth chart, Jack Smith's birthday would fall on the descendant, which is completely opposite, in the partnership house, the helper, the other. And he's working together with the United States. So it makes sense. I feel like, when I asked about the border bill to fund and to shift all the different rules and give money for the border crossings across the country and how they put the kibosh on it because of the Senate and the Congress. And they're out right now, but I don't see it passing anytime soon. I just don't see it. I looked into Greg Abbott's energy, and he was doing something with his hands. There was no paper, but it was almost like he was folding things or he was working on something. And I don't know what it was. I mean, it's not going to be folding towels or anything, but it was something where he was working with his hands. And I didn't see him, like, I got in his energy. He's a very black and white guy. I don't see him doing the math where things are connected, all these different integrated parts of the economy and crime and health and farming and energy. I don't see him how immigration affects that. I see him like there's a wall and we need to close it down and we need to maintain it and not let anybody in. But he wants to let people in just like 3 at a time, and he wants to vet them as they go through. He doesn't mind people coming through, but like super slow and just like 1 or 2 at a time. He thinks like he has like a straight line mentality. I guess that's like, I'm sorry to insult another men out there. It's a straight line mentality. This leads to this, leads to this. So I'm mad. I'm going to do this and that's going to happen, but I don't care because I'm just mad and I want to do this thing because it's a straight line. And it's funny, when I looked at the border, I didn't see the border crossing as bad in California, which I don't understand why. In Arizona, it's like half and half. And then in Texas, I saw it worse. And I don't know if it's because there's a larger border, but I do think he's put a lot of restraints on it. In the past, I've seen them coming through, even though the wall was down, I saw people just coming through anyway. But now it feels like it's more restricted. About if the U.S. will get swallowed up by immigration and all this stuff, like they are, Europe and stuff. And I think that was that Kevin Birdwell. But U.S. won't get swallowed up, but more and more people are filling the land. The countries with the bad violence and the bad economies, those are the ones where the people are coming from. And their economies will get smaller. And we won't turn into that. We're not going to turn into those economies or that bad situation. Crime won't increase any more than normal. Like, crime goes up and down, depending. It's not going to make it worse. I know crime has increased in certain cities and certain events have happened. And I don't understand that progressive law, or the cities where the laws, you don't get charged for anything under $1,000, and they have these smash and grab things or stealing things and they put them on the street right away. I don't get that. I may be a Democrat, but I am not a fan of that. I don't understand. I feel like if you do something, it's illegal. You do the crime, you do the time, and you get punished for it. Simple as that. And we need to, if one person does it that easy, then then the next person, everybody will just keep doing it, and it'll be chaos and lawlessness. But anyway, so immigration. So the crime rate won't increase vastly more. Just the resources that we need for the immigrants to come in. So costs will go up. Everything's going to go up in costs for everybody. Big changes have to happen within the governmental structure to accommodate and to push these immigrants through the system. But because of the politicians and all that anti-management situation, they don't want to manage it. They want to just be mad about it and not fix it as best they can or work together. It's not going to happen. And so next year, when the Dems hold both the Congress and the Senate, House and the Senate, we're going to make some changes. They're going to make some changes, and things like that will get taken care of, where there'll be more governmental structures to manage immigrants or to find the resources. And in resources, I don't mean, it could be court time judges, but it also could be putting supplies where they need to be, depending on the area where there's more people, that kind of thing. There's going to be a lot more anger about it. Shocking. And there'll be diseases, or diseases will affect them because we're not used to that. And there'll be anger. And there'll be more, some positives would be we'll get more workers and more tolerance of the unknown. There'll be people that'll be surprised at how things can change. Not everybody, obviously, but some people. Crystal Blue Persuasion, which I love the name, asked me about Nancy Mace. She's a Republican from South Carolina. I saw she was going to win again. I feel like she's tough like Gates, and I saw her as like an obelisk, which is a standalone structure. It's like George Washington Monument is an obelisk, where it's straight up and it goes to a spire and, point at the top. I saw her, that hard stone structure. She is immobile. She is staying there. No dessert for her. She is hard as a rock. And so she's not going anywhere. I saw the GOP convention. Excuse my language. It's going to be a shit show. It's going to be crazy. And before that, leading up to that, it's going to be how I looked at it. I saw a food fight in a high school cafeteria. That's what I saw. People throwing food, throwing things like wild. Like it's not going to make, they're not going to get any headway either. It's going to go round and round and just screaming and everything. And then that's June. But by then, Trump will be in some court cases. Georgia, Fani Willis. Oh, yeah. So I also saw that Fani Willis will stay in and that Nathan Wade will be removed or put into another position. He won't be on the case anymore. But this whole situation where she was on the stand and they thought she was compromised as a district attorney, it just clouded everything. There was nothing they found wrong, but because she went on the stand, it looked really bad, and it makes people, and you can't take that thought away once that happens. And I looked into Trump's shoes, the new shoes. He will sell a lot of those lovely gold and star-spangled shoes, and people will look later and shake their heads. You remember back in the day we'd buy plates, there would be these things on TV where they'd sell the plates and everybody would buy these really great plates, and they have certificates, and there'd be collectors, and there were so many grandmas and people that have passed away with those plates, and they became worthless eventually over time. I feel like that's Trump's shoes. I feel like people will look and go, oh, what did I do? I spent $400. But if it makes them happy, it makes them happy. But over time, I think there'll be people like that. I also saw there's somebody that has a lot of money that's going to buy cases and cases, tons and tons of these shoes. And I don't know if they're thinking about selling them later or they're going to just doing it to help him. I saw that. And I also saw that more in the case of that cologne or that perfume that he's selling. I feel like that's also going to be like that. And that will sell as well, not as much as the shoes, but somebody's going to just buy cases of that and they're going to put it in a storage unit somewhere, a warehouse. And he will get the money, because I wasn't sure if he was going to be able to pay for all these appeals, because you have to put forth the money 120%. And it's like up to $500 million if you include the E. Jean Carroll. So I think what he's going to have to do is find somebody, and I think he probably will, that will give him a loan on his property plus some of the money that he has so he can put it aside so he can do these appeals, because he won't back down. And over time, I think he's going to have to sell those properties, and I don't know if it will be I don't feel like it might be Mar-a-Lago or not, but he has a lot of properties, and I think he's going to sell them over time. Yes, okay, I think that was it. All right, so thanks for coming by. Appreciate all the likes and subscribes. Please share with your friends and family if you are so inclined. And, this is all just my visions. It's for entertainment. And I feel strongly that it's got a good purpose. And hopefully you do too. I guess that's why you're here. So till next time, you take care. And one more thing I forgot to mention, I do personal readings, and you can sign up. There's a link below, a combination. If you just want a tarot card reading, I do that. But I also I meditate a little bit on you before we visit, and I use that information. Plus I use your astrology. If you know that information, the more particular birth time, date, and place. And then also tarot cards. So I use this whole kind of combination. So if you're interested, please hit the link below, and I'd be happy to talk to you whenever you want. All right. Take care.